Strange natural phenomena.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Talltanic. I'm your host, Alexa.
They say everything happens for a reason, but when compiling this list, we were thinking perhaps in this genre, it's not quite right, because we're not exactly sure what all the reasons are. If you can shed some info on any of our points, we'd love to hear from you later.
If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss an upload.
Light my fire. It's rather romantic when somebody tells you that you ignite their fire, but when it comes to spontaneous human combustion, let's just say, the romance is dead. Spontaneous human combustion, or SHC, is a natural phenomenon that has been shrouded in mystery since it was first reported in the 17th century. Actually, the highest number of cases were reported during the 17th century, a few in the 20th and a handful in the 21st. In total, there are a few hundred reports of SHC, which is enough to make one a little concerned. In the past, it was believed that the victims were all morally ill-dispensed in some way, like abusing alcohol, overweight, or even just being a woman. In its basic form, a person would be minding their own business, innocently sitting in an armchair, or, like in the case of Dr. J. Irving, standing in his bathroom, and this person would burst into flames, igniting nothing around them, just their body going up in flames. It's thought that SHC is caused by an external source of ignition, be it a cigarette, a lighter, or an electrical spark, but that doesn't explain why only the body burns and nothing else. The most recent case was documented in 2010, when Michael Faraday, 76, died in his home in Galway from SHC. Seeing double. Doppelgangers, a word as strange as the phenomenon. It's a German word that means double walker, referring to a shadow or a ghost of oneself. Stories of evil twins have been around for centuries, and considering how many doppelgangers we see these days, perhaps there was some truth in those evil twins. In ancient times, seeing your double was not a good sign, and ancient folklore believed that death was soon to follow. There's a website called Twin Strangers where over 500,000 people have registered in the hope of finding their double, and many have succeeded to do so. A little strange? I certainly think so. Been there, done that. Or have you? Deja vu is a French phrase and translated means already seen. How many times have you been in the position where you knew exactly what was going to happen next because you've already done or seen it? It's enough to send shivers down your spine. This strange natural phenomenon has several possible explanations, but the truth is, we'll never really know. Some believe that it's a glimpse into a past life, while others suggest that there is a 1-second delay in processing information, meaning that you see something and then a second later, your brain is processing it for the first time. Other factors that could cause deja vu are thought to be a neurological mismatch or undiagnosed epilepsy, and deja vu is more common in younger people. We can continue to speculate, but truth is, it will remain a strange natural phenomenon. Bloody marvelous. Let's leave tricks of the mind behind and take in some tricks of nature. Blood falls in Antarctica will raise your blood pressure, but luckily it'll drop back down pretty quick when you realize that what you're seeing is certainly not real blood. Credit to nature, though, for making it look so legit. Taylor Glacier and Lake Bonny have this scarlet-colored liquid pouring out from them, making snow look like it's stained with crimson blood. As strange as what it is, it does have a logical explanation. The liquid comes from a very salty subglacial lake, which has been around for 2 million years. Water became trapped below the glacier, receiving no light, oxygen, or heat. As the salt water filters through the glacier, it encounters oxygen for the first time, which results in this red-colored cascade. Cool as ice. Penitentes are as cool as you can get, and your only chance of seeing these incredible icy formations is if you head up to high altitudes, like the Andes, and hope that weather conditions are just right. Sunlight turns the ice into water vapor before it gets a chance to melt properly into liquid water. The blades of the ice are usually in the direction of the sun. What makes this phenomenon more unusual is that often the penitents are just surrounded by stone and gravel, and are not even in an icy or snowy environment. The name is in reference to people seeking penance while kneeling. They can be as small as a few centimeters or inches and can reach heights of 5 meters or 16 feet. Charles Darwin was the first to mention these in 1839, and NASA has recently confirmed that they've found penitents on Pluto. Sail away with me. Sailing stones had people scratching their heads for years, wondering how on earth it was possible for heavy stones to go whizzing around dried lake beds in California's Death Valley National Park. Evidence of their movement was clear, as the stones left a trail behind them. But if you consider that the boulders were as heavy as 300 kilograms and they moved as far as 250 meters, it doesn't seem remotely possible. The obvious choice to explain this strange phenomenon has gotta be aliens, or quite possibly magic fairy dust, but thanks to a NASA scientist, we have a more believable option available. Whether you choose to believe it or not is up to you. Ralph Lorenz can be credited with cracking the case. In 2006, he created a small-scale model using a small rock which he froze in an inch of water. With the buoyancy of the ice, even a small breeze can send the stones sailing. Stones with rough edges leave straight tracks, and smoother stones tend to drift and go in different directions. When the warmer months roll by, the ice melts and the stone remains in its new position, leaving the suspicious trail behind it. Stand tall, be proud. Rainbow trees are a fast-growing evergreen tree that can live for up to 150 years. These trees are unlike anything you've seen before and occur naturally in the Philippines and Indonesia. These trees can grow 3 feet or almost a meter in a single year, but that's not what makes them so unusual. It's the strange and beautiful colors that the tree boasts, which occur when the thin layers of bark strip away and the younger, brighter colors are revealed. The younger bark comes in shades of green and purple, and as the tree grows older and loses chlorophyll, it changes to red and brown. The bark then becomes completely brown, and the whole cycle is repeated throughout its lifetime. This natural phenomenon is a must-see, and you can actually find these trees in Hawaii. They're often grown in plantations and are used as a source of pulpwood, which is then used to make paper in some countries. Blame your gut. Let's leave nature for a bit and delve into our heads. You've heard of a sixth sense before, or perhaps you've just had a feeling in your gut that something wasn't quite right. Call it intuition, call it your instinct, but your body has a natural way of helping you suss out a situation. It's your body's way of helping to protect you, and you should always pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. How it happens is another story altogether. We do subconsciously take notes of things that are happening all around us, and we could be processing that information in so many ways we're not even aware of. Some signs that could mean you have great intuition include having vivid dreams or catching the clock at a certain time all the time. You're the kind of person who can see through people, and you're at the right place at the right time sort of person, and the list goes on. Like, if your instinct is telling you that we're going to be speaking about the eternal flame falls next, you'd be spot on. Eternal flame. Nope, we're not going to belt out the single from the Bangles. Instead, we're going to share this remarkable phenomenon with you that occurs naturally in the Shale Creek Reserve at Chestnut Ridge Park in western New York. The Eternal Flame Falls has a small grotto at its base that releases a natural gas. If you light this gas, it will produce a small flame. It's visible throughout the year, although it is possible to extinguish it, but it's fairly simple to relight. It was one of those tourist attractions that was rather challenging to get to and kind of obscure, but with the increased attention it's received on social media, the numbers have increased exponentially, and so has the litter, vandalism, and pollution. Researchers have discovered that the falls emit around 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of methane every day, which is why it's possible to keep it lit all year round. Bubble, bubble, toil, and trouble. Frozen methane bubbles are a phenomenal find, and you'll have to wait for the winter months to head to Lake Abraham in Alberta, Canada to see them. Their appearance is so amazing, and yet they have a very simple explanation as to why they're there, trapped below the ice, waiting for Elsa to come down from her castle and melt it. Okay, not quite, but the reality is that these gas bubbles are created when dead leaves, grass, and animals fall into the water and sink to the bottom. They are then eaten by bacteria, which excretes methane. The gas bubbles are released and they float up to the surface, which then form these icy discs when they connect with frozen water. As beautiful as what it is, it's also very dangerous. There are thousands of pockets of methane gas, which means they are highly flammable. When the water does melt in spring, these bubbles pop and release all that gas. If anyone were to light a match nearby, the results would be catastrophic. Which of these natural phenomena did you find the strangest? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. 1. Goat 1, tree 0. Purchase your ticket to Morocco right now. Not only will you be able to drink the most sublime coffee, but you'll also, if you're lucky, spot goats in trees. These goats are fussy, though, and they only climb up one type of tree, the Argania spinosa, aka the argan tree. Endemic to southwest Mexico, this prickly and thorny tree produces a small, bitter fruit, which the goats love. They love this fruit so much that they will happily climb into the tree to retrieve the fruit from its upper branches. It's not a great tasting fruit, and humans don't consume it. The fruit has a nut inside that looks like an olive. The goats love the pulp of the fruit, but when they're eating, they just eat the entire fruit, nut and all. Their bodies are unable to digest the nut, which ends up passing through them whole. People are then paid to sift through goat droppings and retrieve the seeds. The nuts contain kernels, which are then roasted, ground, or cold pressed, and then argan oil is made. It costs $300 per liter and has done wonders for many rural Moroccan families, as the oil is highly sought after around the world. Ironically, the goats are also a hindrance to the farmers, as their hooves destroy the branches where the fruit grows, so farmers have to strike a balance between the goat and the tree.